Good evening, people of faith. Today I'll be sharing a message on how to work your faith. My message is titled Activating Your Faith, Reaching Out Through Faith. Let's start up by defining what faith is. Faith is the confidence that what we hope for will eventually happen. Faith gives us assurance about things that we cannot see. Why do we need faith? We need faith to receive and carry that which God has given us beforehand. How does faith connect us to God? Faith creates a gradient of trust between you and God. Reading from Hebrews 11 verse 6. But without faith it is impossible to please Him. For he who comes to God must believe that He is, and that He is a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. How do you go about activating your faith? You see, faith is the main branch. And so with the main branch, there are other branches that helps to achieve the objective of the main branch. That is what I'll be dwelling on tonight. The other branches that helps your faith to reach out to the unseen and the impossible. Those other branches will be trust, will be courage, will be persistence, will be patience and belief. Let's start up by trust. Reading from Matthew 14 verse 28 to 31. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water. So he said, come. And when Peter had come down out of the boat, he walked on water to Jesus. But when he saw that the wind was upon him, he was afraid and began to sink. He cried out, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and caught him and said to him, You of little faith, why did you doubt? Why did you doubt? The opposite of doubt will be trust. And that is what I'll be talking about. The first branch of faith is trust. You need to trust on the Master who has called you out. Peter had enough faith to step outside of the boat and onto the water. But the minute that the wind came his way, his faith was shaken and he began to doubt, meaning that he failed to trust God. He failed to trust Christ who called him forth to the water, who called him to walk on water. You need to activate your faith, and activating a stable faith, you need to trust God. You need to trust God and His word. At a time like this where the number of people infected by this virus, you wonder to yourself, you doubt, asking yourself, am I next? Is this virus coming up for me now? Is this virus truly going to kill me? That doubt that you are creating with this negativity is what shakes your faith. And when your faith is shaken, you begin to sink. I want to encourage you tonight to have trust. You need to trust. We need to learn to trust if our faith is going to be activated. Going to number 2, courage. Courage. When I speak of courage, I'm reminded of the woman with the issue of blood. Reading from Matthew 9, verse 20. And suddenly a woman who had a flow of blood for 12 years came behind and touched the hem of his garment. For she said to herself, if only I may touch his garment, I shall be made well. But Jesus turned around, and when he saw her, he said, Be of good cheer, daughter. Your faith has made you well. This is a woman who was isolated from the community. This is a woman with no confidence upon herself. This is a woman who has suffered for years. This is a courageous woman who got to touch the garment of the Master. Jesus was considered king upon many. He was considered the Master, the untouchable. But this woman with courage, her courage brought her forth. And when she stepped forth, she said upon herself that if only I may touch the hem of his garment, I shall be made well. If I may remind you, a garment is just a mere clothing. It's just a mere clothing. So for this to work, she had to have faith. She had to have faith. And what helped her faith? What was that other branch that helped the main branch, which is faith? That was courage. This courageous woman went behind Jesus and touched his garment, hoping for the unseen, hoping for the impossible. She reached out through courage and have faith for the healing. And so Jesus turned around and said, "Be of good cheer, daughter. Your faith has made you well. Your faith has made you well." And she was made well from that hour. Now that's your courageous woman. You need courage to reach out. You need courage. If faith is going to work for you, you need to have the courage to step forward and say, I believe. You need to have courage to say that if I may only call out to God even in this storm, if I can only just, keep meditating upon the word and declaring the word of God upon my life, that indeed I shall not die but live. That is courage. It takes courage for you to do what you don't normally do. This is the woman of courage. Her courage helped her faith. Her courage extended her faith so that she can be healed. Her courage is what drew the healing, the power from God. The healing did not come from the garment, but her garment was only a substance that helped her faith, that helped her as a courageous woman, because she did not just touch any man's garment. But you see, it's about whose garment are you touching? Who's wearing the garment? Who is in control of that garment? And that was Christ. And for her, she was healed because the Master himself was wearing the garment. And her faith touched Christ beyond his garment. And then on the third point, we'll be talking about believe. When I talk about believe, I am taken to the blind man who approached Jesus. The blind man who approached Jesus. Reading from Matthew 9, verse 28 to 30. And when he had come out in the house, the blind man came to him, and Jesus said to them, "Do you believe that I am able to do this?" They said to him, "Yes, Lord." Then he touched their eyes, saying, "According to your faith, let it be to you." These are blind men who haven't seen Christ. They have not seen Christ with their own eyes. So all they had to do is believe. So believe is another branch that helps the main branch, which is faith, to reach out to the unseen, to the impossible. These men were blind. They haven't seen the so-called Jesus, but they've heard of him, so they choose to believe. And because they choose to believe, their vision was given back to them. They were no longer blind, but then they could see at long last that which they believe. These are blind men who haven't seen Christ. I repeat, you don't have to see it to believe it. Not with our God. You don't have to see it to believe it. You just need to believe. 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 And then your faith will be extended. And one of the good days, you will witness with your own eyes the grace of God. And one of the good days, you will witness with your eyes the miraculous, wonderful work of Christ. Do not let your eyes limit you. Do not let your problem limit you. Do not let this virus limit you. You need to believe that there is life. Even with this virus, there is life. Believe it now, though you don't see it because many are dying, but believe it now so that indeed you will be part of those who live to witness us conquer, overcome this virus. And then fourthly, I will be talking about persistence. When I talk about persistence, I am reminded of Hannah. Hannah was a woman who had no son. She had no son, and in so doing, she had to make a vow to God. Reading from Samuel 1 verse 7. So it was year by year when she went out to the house of the Lord that she provoked her, therefore she wept and did not eat. It was year by year. Year by year. That indicates persistency. Persistency. If your faith is going to reach out, you cannot have faith today and hope for it to come through tomorrow. If you are to have faith upon something, you need to have persistency. You need to do something continuously. Reading 1 Samuel verse 11, it continues to read, "Then she made a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your maidservant and remember me, and not forget your maidservant, but give your maidservant a male child." This is Hannah for you. It was year by year whereby she went to the house of the Lord. And she did not just stop there, but she also came to a point where she made a vow. She made a vow to God. Now that's persistency. She persisted in prayer. She continued in prayer. She did not allow her faith to be shaken. She continued, although she was being discouraged, although she was being provoked, with all the challenges on her way, even with her husband asking her, "Am I not enough for you?" She did not allow that to stop her, but she went on to make a vow. That is persistency. She persisted with that which her faith was seeking. So her persistency is what helped her faith reach out to the impossible, to the unseen. So would you please do like Hannah and persist? Persist in prayer. Persist in your declarations. Persist on your practices and exercises of faith. Persist so that one of the good days like Hannah, oh my God, God will come up about and say, "Go in peace. Go in peace, for your petition has been granted unto you." And we read this from Samuel 1 verse 17. Then Eli answered and said, "Go in peace, and the Lord of Israel grant your petition which you have asked of him." This is reaching out in faith. If you are going to reach out, you need to do what is expected of you. Not one day and skip a day. Not 1 year and skip a year. But year by year, like Hannah, you need to persist. You need to do it continuously. You need to do it non-stop until you can see the unseen. As we draw to conclusion, I will speak on the last branch, which is patience and endurance. When I speak of patience, I'm reminded of Job. Job went through a difficult time. Job was tested in a way that you and I have never been tested. But he endured. Reading Job 2 verse 7 to 10. So Satan went from the presence of the Lord and afflicted Job with painful sores from the sole of his feet to the crown of his head. Then Job took a piece of a broken potter and scrubbed himself with it as he sat among the ashes. And then his wife said to him, "Are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die." And the good servant, the faithful servant, who is Job, says in verse 10, he replied, "You are talking like a foolish woman. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" In all that, Job did not sin in what he said. In all that, Job did not sin in what he said. Job never turned around and cursed God. But he endured through it all. Through it all, he endured. I mean, the enemy came from every point. The enemy came from every corner. The enemy tested his faith from every corner, but he endured. He did not curse God, but he endured. He was patient. He was patient. So you see, with faith, you cannot pray about it today and say you have faith, only tomorrow to be asking, where is what I prayed for? Why can I not see any of what I'm praying for? You need patience. You need to endure even in this storm. You need to be patient even throughout these 21 days. You need to be patient. For your faith will reward you. Your faith will reward you. Because reading from Job 42 verse 10, after it all, after all that Job endured, this is what happens, because he was patient and he understood that this God we serve, you see, he does not work according to our time, but this God that we serve, you see, he works in miraculous ways. Job understands what patience can bring about. Patience can extend your faith into reaching out what you never even thought God is able to do. Reading Job 42 verse 10, indeed the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. Indeed the Lord God gave Job twice as much as he had before. Patience. Patience. You will reap what you sow if only you be patient enough for your seed to bear the fruits. With patience comes great reward. With patience, your faith will be fulfilled. With patience, your faith, oh my God, will please God in a way that He will want to double upon your life. That is patience for you. You need to endure. Even in a time like this where we are faced with this coronavirus, you need to endure the hard times of staying indoors. You need to endure the hard times of hearing about people dying. You need to endure so that one of the good days, when the Lord so wills, you and I will witness this virus come to its end. Be patient and endure. Be patient and endure. Even in this season, be patient and endure. You need to be patient because God is at work. And God does not do according to your will, but you see, the will of God is greater than our will. In conclusion, allow me to remind you that indeed faith without works is dead. So with all these other branches that helps the main branch, which is faith, the other branches talking about trust, the other branches talking about belief, the other branches talking about persistence, talking about patience and endurance. I mean, you need to reach out. You need to reach out. You need to be courageous, like the woman with the issue of blood, and reach out. Do what you haven't done before, so that your faith can expand and reach out and please the Lord, that He turns around and says, go, for your faith has made you well. In a time like this, you need to be persistent, continuously meditating upon the word, continuously even washing your hands and sanitizing your hands, so that you endure in this time and do as instructed. Doing so doesn't say that you have lack of faith. But you see, doing so, you are sharpening your faith. You are reaching out. Oh my God. You are reaching out in faith. And when you reach out in faith, indeed you shall eventually get hold of what you hope for. You shall eventually get hold of what you are praying for. Do likewise and trust God to do it for you. Faith without works is dead. So faith without trust in God is dead. Jesus says to Peter, you of little faith, why did you doubt? In other words, why did you not trust that I can carry you through the storm? I can carry you through this wind. Do not doubt God, but persist. Persist. And continuously, oh my God, continuously pray, hope, maintain that gradient of trust between you and God, so that like the blind man, you believe in what you cannot see, hoping that you will be able to see it one of the good days. Faith without works is dead. So reach out and activate your faith. Reach out in trust. Reach out in persistency. Reach out in patience. Reach out in belief. Reach out in courage and be courageous. Good night.